We are here on the 84th birthday of Booker Taliaferro Poe, and continuing our oral history series with him. Today we're going to be talking about his years at Tennessee State and some at Meharry, and we will also talk about how he met his wife. So, first, please state your name again for the record.
Booker Taliaferro Poe.
All right. And last time we talked about your life in Eustis, and a little bit about your coming up to Atlanta. Please tell us how you ended up going from Eustis to Tennessee State.
Well, I really wanted to go to Fisk. Fisk was more prestigious, but one of my mother's colleagues who taught school in Sarasota said, well, you got another son coming back from school, said, why don't you think about Tennessee State? And although that wasn't my first choice, I ended up being a very good decision because it wasn't as expensive as Fisk. And I paved the way for my brother, and I got to make the fraternity, Alpha fraternity. If you don't know about that fraternity, that's the fraternity Dr. King was a member of.
With colors.
And I also was vice president of the senior class. And I finished with honors.
And you said you were valedictorian?
Not at Meharry.
I'm sorry.
Not at Tennessee State.
I'm sorry.
I finished with honors at Tennessee State.
Okay.
I wasn't a valedictorian,
okay.
but I finished with honors at Tennessee State. And it was a lot less expensive than Fisk, so that turned out to be a very good decision for me. Plus my brother came, my younger brother Cubit came by also, and it was inexpensive for him because I got a job working in the science building, and he was able to get a job because I was already there. So it worked out very well for me.
Great. All right. And now, did you meet Gloria Reeves you met her at the library at Tennessee State. Were you still at Tennessee State?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
She has told us when she first saw you, you were walking towards her in the library.
Uh-huh.
What do you remember? When did you first see Gloria Reeves, and what did you think of her?
I was taking some courses at Tennessee State, advanced courses, because I wanted to go into medicine, and I saw her in the library. And at that time, I was working at the post office too. So that's how I met her, at the library at Tennessee State.
Now, she said when you came over to her, you said, I think I know you from somewhere. Were you just saying that as a way to kind of start a conversation, or did you know her, remember her from somewhere?
I don't remember her from anywhere.
So that was a move to just kind of say hello?
Yeah.
And what about her made you want to go over and walk and introduce yourself?
Well, she was a very attractive person.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And anything else you remember?
And she was she was a Fisk graduate, and she had to take some more science courses because Fisk didn't carry a lot of courses she needed to get a job teaching.
So you found out quickly that she was taking science courses.
She was taking courses that she could go back to Chattanooga and get a job teaching.
But when you first walked up to her, did you know anything about her besides that?
Not really.
Okay, all right. And tell us about, did you ask her out then? How did it go from there?
I eventually asked her out, yes.
Well, the first time you just said hello?
Mm-hmm.
And then you started seeing her in the library?
Yes.
And how did you decide to ask her out?
Well, she's a very attractive person.
Right. But how did you? What made you say, okay, I'm going to ask her out? And how did you tell us about that?
Well, I met her sister. Her sister was also a graduate of Fisk, and I met her sister, and I met other members of her family.
Mm-hmm. All right. And so that's how you met Gloria Poe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we're just going to ask one more question. We're going to wrap up this segment. Tell us how you decided to go to Meharry.
I always wanted to go into medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing about going into medicine during those days, there were so few doctors. There wasn't a single black doctor in my hometown or anywhere near my hometown.
Right.
and then you could get a scholarship. They gave out scholarships, about 10 a year, from the Selby Foundation, and if you agreed to come back and teach there in the state of Florida, you didn't have to pay the money back.
Right. Now, you mentioned there were no black doctors. My understanding is you are the first African American in the history of the Tri-County area to finish medical school who is black. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right.
That's quite an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
What year did you finish medical school?
Oh boy, I forgot.
Well, we'll look that up and add that to the series.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last question or comment I have is all of these schools were segregated.
That's right.
We now live in a time where we attend school with whites and work with whites and so forth. Tell us a little bit about segregated schools, what they were like.
Well, blacks couldn't go to school with whites in those days.
Why is that?
They were segregated
Why?
because we were considered inferior.
And what were the supplies like compared to the white schools? Do you remember in your...
Oh, goodness gracious. They gave us handed down books that the whites used. The whites had a gym. We didn't have a gym in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
It was very different being at a black school as compared to being at a white school. It was a long time before blacks could go to a white school when I came along.
Thank you so much for this interview. We will see you at the next interview. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.